So Jason gave you a little high overview, so I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper onto what an ISP has to do and their responsibility on providing the services to customers, whether it be a home or a business. And so as he touched on, there's a lot of work that goes into delivering this internet to customers. And a lot of questions on how that gets to the customer itself. So basically there's 6 high-speed transmission technologies used by internet service providers today to deliver broadband to a home or a business. The first one is probably the one that's been around the longest, which is a digital subscriber line, or DSL for short. And that uses traditional telephone copper cables, to your house or to the business. It has limitations as far as how far the customer can be away from the provider's equipment, and definitely has limitations on the type of speed that can be delivered across those copper wires. Cable modem is another one, and that uses a coax cable, the same coax cable that's used to deliver like television broadcasts to the home or the business. There again, that has limitations based on distance and other factors such as, signal degrading and different things, noise. But anyway, both those are still in use today. Very good ways of providing, the broadband to the customers. The third way is a fiber optics. And that's, that's a buzzword with a lot of people. It's probably the most popular as an internet service provider as well as a customer, because with fiber optics, you're really only limited by the equipment that you have on the end of it. The cable itself, because it's converting the electrical signal into a light, you're not subject to a lot of the loss or distance limitations that you would be on other transmission technologies. The fourth way is wireless, whether that be 4G or point-to-point or point-to-multi-point radio link, from your house to the ISP. The fifth way is satellite, which is essentially another form of wireless that connects the customer, to orbiting satellites. And ultimately, those satellites are linked to the service provider's networks. There's a lot of latency and other issues that come into the satellite. They're also limited bandwidth. And traditionally, it's a little bit more expensive as a service provider to provide that over a satellite connection. And the last, number 6, is broadband over power lines. That's kind of a newer technology. It's been around for a few years, but you're seeing it more, and that's transmitting broadband over existing electric power distribution networks. So essentially, that's the 6 ways that an ISP can deliver the broadband service to a customer. And again, of the 6, fiber optics is probably the preferred, like I said, because it's not subject to the attenuation and signal distortion found on pretty much all the other technologies delivering broadband. So once signal is at the home or business, equipment needs to be installed at the customer to convert that signal to a usable broadband service. So primarily there's 3 different devices that could be installed at the customers. The first one is a modem, and that connects the customer, the home or business, to the ISP network. That's really the only function of that modem. It takes that signal from the ISP and gets it to the customer's house, and at that point, the next item that could possibly be installed is a router. So that modem would typically plug into a router, and the router creates a network using, internal IP addresses inside the house or business, and manages the flow of that data to each of the customer devices. The routers can also provide other services such as Wi-Fi and some security features, such as passwords or network encryption and firewalls. If you think of a router, kind of think of a traffic cop. What its main job is to do is to route the broadband traffic to the correct device, whether that's via wireless or a hardwired connection. The other thing that you could possibly see in your house or at a business is a switch, and that's a device that centralizes communications among several hardwired devices, creating essentially a local area network along with the router. So a modem, router, and a switch, they're often combined into a single device, so you won't necessarily have 3 different devices at your house. Back when broadband first became a thing, they were all different devices. You would have a modem, then you'd have a separate router plugged in, and possibly even a separate switch.